We're just hanging out. We had some of you on here early, so we thought we'd come on. And
John says, let's just wing it tonight. Let's just sort of just go where it takes us.
Well, now and then it's good. You might not have questions. There's some good stories this week. We had a lot of. I always forget to put the volume down because it goes bloop or bloop when someone talks. Because I should. Hold on, I'll tell you what happened this week. Open Zoom.
Before and after.
Oops.
Before and after.
It's our iPad.
We've got lots of things going on right here.
Oh, it doesn't have my old interviews. Talked to Trevor Rabin for a second time today. Stuart Copeland, Terry Brown, Russia's biggest producer. Oh my God, there's just been
have been so busy.
Sylvia Tyson, which didn't record.
I know.
I did Sylvia Tyson for me and Sylvia.
That one was a phoner.
And it was a phoner, and I was using Tape a Call, but a new version of it. And I thought I was taping it. I was looking while I was talking to her on the phone. I kept looking at the phone, and it was counting down. But Shannon reminded me.
We even did a test run.
A test run. Shannon reminded me. Oh, it'll do that. Oh, quality updated. Oh. Well, I noticed today when I was talking to Trevor Rabin that the quality he was freezing. And yesterday I talked to Rick Emmett for 2 hours and 15 minutes.
It was long. Well, you always expect to talk to him for a couple hours. You guys get along so well.
I've known Rick Emmett for so many years. I used to be the co-chair of the Canadian Smooth Jazz Awards, and of course he was a big part of that because he was doing jazz and smooth jazz back then. And so I got to know him a little bit, and he and I just talk. And Rick Emmett's so nice that he said, "I'm going to save things just for you." I knew I was going to talk to you today, and I didn't schedule any other interviews that day because his Late on the Line is his new book. It's an autobiography. It's very good. I was just listening to Trevor Rabin speaking. I'm plugging all the people that talk to me. Trevor Rabin's new album is insanely good. I'm just so pleased with it. So I have a phoner with Trevor, and then the promotion company. It's kind of like they figured out what channel we were. Not that we have preferential treatment, but we are a pretty good sized channel at 125,000 subscribers. We're by far not the biggest. There's so much. Rick Beato's the king. But Rick and I do slightly different things. So they gave me another interview this time on Zoom, which was nice. And had a chance to talk to him. I made him laugh a few times. I used to know a lady in Edmonton. She used to call him, "Oh, he's the good-looking one in Yes. Isn't he the cute one in Yes?" I'm going, well, he's kind of known for other things, but he laughed at that.
I've got a lot of people that say hi Tammy C, hi John and Shannon.
Hi Tammy.
Phil, happy Friday John and Shannon. Anthony, hi from Spokane, Washington.
Spokane.
Nice to have you here.
I remember someone in Edmonton once said, and they lived in Spokane, Washington. Well, oh, come on. Don't say Spokane.
Steve Craze, hello from rainy UK.
Hey.
Alex Knight, hey Alex, hello
Alex.
from Boston. Nice to have you here.
Boston.
Hi with Mike, hey folks. Hi Mike.
We never made it to Boston when we lived in the East Coast.
We didn't.
We put all the money we had into our house.
Tammy C said, I love Trevor Rabin. I named my older son after him. I'm a huge Yes fan.
You know what he told me? He says the budget for Owner of a Lonely Heart, he told me this today, just a few hours ago. The budget for Owner of a Lonely Heart was insane. He didn't know the actor's name. I told him the actor's name. I looked it up. That is in the video. They're on top of the building. I said, were you guys really on top of the building? He says, oh yeah. So you're not afraid of heights? He says, not really. But basically, the meaning behind that song is some people would rather be lonely than have their heart broken. And that's basically because he came up with it first. It was almost finished when he brought it to a lot of those songs to Yes, which had broken up at the time. But man, what a story.
Steve says, hey, how is Emmett doing these days?
He's good. He's dealing with some health issues, which we'll talk about when we start the whole thing. We're I don't know how many. I think we're over 30 interviews behind. So what I've told myself is at least once a day. I'm sorry, we got that light going there. At least once a day.
The side window.
Yeah. I'm going to do a complete interview. Like the Rick Emmett one will take 2 hours and 15, 20 minutes. Oh man, that's going to take like a couple of days to edit through that. And Stuart Copeland is shorter. I had 20 minutes, but he gave me half an hour. He says, "No, that's okay. They can wait." He says, "We're in a groove here." So it was really, really nice. And he told me, he said, the drum kit behind me, Ginger Baker played that drum kit. And speaking of Cream and Ginger Baker, Malcolm Bruce, who's Jack Bruce's son from Cream, had a really long conversation with him. Can you just grab that book if you don't mind, honey? I talked this week to, his name is Ray Robertson, wrote Get to Know the Grateful Dead, really. It's not the name of it, but in what is it, 50 shows?
50 shows, yeah.
50 shows. What an interesting cat this guy is. And next week I'm talking to a gentleman who just wrote we're doing Sylvia Tyson again. She was gracious to say, "Oh, no problem." She said at the end of the interview, she said, "I really enjoyed this. You asked me some crazy questions." I was happy about that.
Keith chimes in, "Howdy, guys. I love Rick." Hey, Keith.
Hey, Keith.
Adam says, "Hi, you gorgeous people. Hi from Adam in Cleveland."
Oh, thanks.
Melody R says, "Hi, Melody." Fraser J.
Hi, Melody.
John is wearing my favorite T-shirt. Looks incredible. It's one of my favorite T-shirts too.
Well, sure.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. I like this one. Stamps from all over the world. Did any of you guys ever collect stamps? You used to be able to order them on the back of comic books. They'd send you a whole bunch of discarded stamps. I don't know where would they get them? Maybe a company collected them. Someone in the mailroom maybe collected. Where'd they get all? Because they were all used stamps. When you used to go in the back of a comic book and say, "Hey, you get so many stamps for like $1 or something." Yeah.
Hi, John at Village Advisory. Hey, John. Happy Saturday morning from Melbourne, Australia.
Hey.
Paul McCartney scheduled to play here tonight. Is 3 hour and 30 plus songs from an octogenarian.
He's he's back on the road. I just saw the headline, and everyone saw the headline about Kiss. Paul Stanley talking about what's the point of having a reunion with Peter Criss and Ace Frehley. Well, the fans would want that. I don't know what too many Kiss fans that won't want that. The majority of fans would want that. When Mark Farner talks about getting back together in Grand Funk, and Mr. Brewer says with the current lineup is the lineup we want, that's obviously not true. And by the way, Trevor Rabin talked about being offered a gig in Foreigner, which has been a story that's been circulating. And I said, can you go in a little deeper into the story? Because the one that's circulating is very limited, because obviously he'd done an interview. And he gave me a pretty good soundbite about that. Trevor's coming up tomorrow. I was just working on it. The Phoner one, because, when you do a Phoner, you have to put BG in the back. You have to put something. You can't just put the album cover. It's kind of boring for people. So I went in and I told Trevor this today. I says, I went in and I got all your soundtrack albums and they're all flying around in the background as you're talking for the Phoner. And then the other half, of course, will be this.
It is great to see some familiar names on here. JD, happy Saturday
Hey,
from
JD.
Tasmania, Australia. Anthony says, Rick, one of my favorite professional guitarists.
Isn't he a nice guy? Oh, by the way, I went into, I put in the call for Geddy Lee last night. I was watching TV, and the good thing about Apple, or anyone can do, you do Hotmail on your phone, is I'm on here and I do research while I'm watching TV for interviews. Because, like, for instance, Terry Brown from Rush, I think I spent 8 hours, maybe 10 hours doing research before I talked to him. Stuart Copeland, my God, that was like 5-6 hours, even though I know the bands really well, but you don't want to miss some juicy bit of stuff, and Stuart gave me some good stuff.
Adam says, spent many trips to Montreal, many relatives that live there, some who escaped the Holocaust.
Well, I was born in Montreal. I love Montreal, but I moved away in '67, and I've only been. I went back in '79 for a couple of hours on a layover, and I just but that was it. I haven't been back since.
Darren says, did the Terry Brown interview already take place?
Yes.
His brother Phil also does engineering and producing.
Yeah.
Once
We talked
excerpts are
about it.
posted, I will send it to Ed, who runs the Rush is a Band fan blog page.
I'm trying to think how long. I think I was on the phone with Terry for an hour and 20 minutes, something like that. It's a pretty good interview. He told me, by the way, he didn't know Neil Peart that well. So, I worked with Neil all those years, but I didn't get to know him that well. And I found it interesting. And I asked him also the fact that Rush kept it under wraps that Neil Peart was sick. Remember we were talking about that? Why didn't that get out that Neil Peart was sick? And all of a sudden, the headline comes up, Neil Peart's dead. Well, what? What did he die of? What happened? And Terry said he didn't even know. He got a call, I think, from Alex I think he said Alex. I'm not sure if he said Getty, but had told him, and but he understood right away because Russia is very private, and Neil was very private.
Gennaro, hi Gennaro, greetings from Montreal, Quebec. Did you know that Lady Gaga and the Rolling Stones were seen together? Any more details would be
Well, they played together.
appreciated.
They played together last night. Wasn't it last night they played together? If you look it up on Google News, there's a picture of Lady Gaga like this and Mick's right beside her, and looks like they're having a good time.
TJ, hi you two.
Hi.
And Paolo says, God bless the Leonard Skinner Band, 10/20/1977.
I've got to get Artemis. I've got his number on here, and I sent him a message, but I guess he's not a big texter. So Artemis, who was on the plane crash, who was their fairly new drummer at the time, survived the plane crash. As most of you probably know the story, he got out of the plane, and he's trying to help the people on the way out of the plane, the survivors, and he sees some people are dead. I'm not sure if he saw Ronnie dead, but I think he did. But anyway, he goes to a nearby farmer's field. You know this story. And he is a scruffy guy, and he's just been in the plane crash, which means the rock guy looks even more scruffy. And he's going, hey! And the farmer comes and thinks this guy's trying to rob me or something, and shoots him in the arm, I think it was. And so finally he realizes that he's not a bad guy. And so Artemis got in the plane crash, survived, and got shot. The Leonard Skinner plane crash. Wow.
Tammy C, yay, some great interviews coming up.
Yeah, a lot. I wish I could. Oh man, I had. I can't really open it here. But with Zoom, you can go back and see the previous interviews. You can go see them. And I know I'm forgetting a whole bunch of people, but we've got. Someone gave us a super chat. Thank you.
Super chat from Justine.
Justine, yeah. Thank you. Very kind of you.
Thank you so much. Very thoughtful.
There's I think about 30. We've got also Bruce Blackman from Starbuck. That one's been finished for about 3-4 weeks. We've got my God, my brain's not working. Chase did a lot of them for us.
Sure did.
And then there's this gentleman, G. Brown, who anyone from where is he from? Denver Post. He wrote for the Denver Post for years. Well, you see something that was funny?
It's just Keith. Made me laugh.
Oh, Keith. I can always tell when you see something.
Fresh new haircut, eh, Johnny Stud?
Yeah, fresh new haircut. Well, Shannon's going to tell you the story. We're driving, and I'm not shaving in a few days.
And
is that her?
Yeah, she's on. And I just said, you know what? You got your hair done. Unfortunately, where you got it done last was not good. I said, why don't you try to get it kind of reshaped? And then why don't you go for a shave and have them...
Never done that before.
Yeah, have them just kind of manicure you and do your beard.
Never had a barber shave me before. I always thought it was kind of a weird...
But you go back again. It was so...
I'll do it. Once a month, he'll straighten it out.
Yeah.
Right? So...
I know you kind of like that kind of scruffy kind of rocker, but it's nice to be a little more refined.
I think it's from growing up. Today with Trevor Rabin, it was really nice. He says, you don't look, because he's 70, and Trevor looks good. But he says, wow, you don't look 63. I said, thank you. But there's a slight filter in my Zoom. I don't know if you ever noticed it. It used to be really bad, but I took it off, and it's like...
Didn't we look like we had permanent tans?
No, I don't know.
Sometimes we change color.
We do?
Well,
that's right. That one time.
Oh, yeah.
What was that?
I have no idea. But it was summer. So
Shannon looked like she had a tan, and she doesn't tan.
Like, not at all.
Oh, we got another super chat. Thank you.
Thank you again. Same lovely person.
Oh, Justine, thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Let me go and catch up here. There's so many that I'm missing.
Okay.
And I just want to
I got stamps on my chest.
Deb Marie 55. Hello from Florida. Hi, Deb.
Hey.
Bob's Place. Hi, John and Shannon. Hi, Bob. Rick Storm. Grand Funk Railroad is not Grand Funk Railroad without Mark.
Yeah. No foreigner, no funk.
Let's see. Darren says Storm Thorgerson played Owner of a Lonely Heart and also did the video for Street of Dreams by Rainbow.
Yeah.
Both videos have a 1970s Jaguar XJ series sedan and individuals dressed in suits.
You know what Trevor said today? You know the maggots, the guy. You remember the actor? He had the. I don't have it here. The actor's name. Why not? Let's look it up. Yeah, I got it right here. Trevor Rabin Notes, owner of a Lonely Heart. I was going to ask him why they came up. He was the lizard in it. Danny Webb hasn't acted since 2019 though. Did a lot of acting, but Danny Webb was the man, the guy. The guards take him, but then he jumps off the building, and you go, well, oh no, the guy's gone through hell in this video, and now he's dead. And then you see him walking as if it was just all a dream, and he turns around. Everyone's walking this way like robots, like 1984, and he turns around and walks the other way. So Danny lives in the video. I love videos, by the way. I just love old videos.
Keith is asking, are you going to interview with Trev Lukather on his new band?
I was just watching the new band today, and I'll contact. He's probably handled by Steve Karras, who handles all the Toto stuff. I was just talking to Steve last week. I don't know if I'm going to get another Luke interview. I've interviewed Luke 5 times, but I'm definitely getting a third David Paich interview. And David always sets out time for me because he knows I like long interviews. Because I really, after a while, sometimes after about half an hour, you get on the groove with someone. I mean, I've already interviewed him twice, and he's really gracious and easy to talk to. But sometimes after about half an hour, that's where you get the magic. You get the really, really good stuff. And I'm also getting Joseph Williams again. So I'll ask Steve. Steve Karras is a great guy. I'll ask Steve to set something up with Phil Collins' son is their drummer. So I hopefully can get all 4 of them. I don't know. Remember I showed you the lead singer today. That guy has a look, man.
Sure
I don't know his name, and pardon my ignorance. I haven't looked into the band yet, but that guy looks like a rock star. And Trev, of course. I mean, come on. Trev Lukather is. Both of his parents are damn good looking. So yeah.
Pope Dope, have you heard the new Rolling Stones album? And if so, your thoughts?
No, I just heard the first single. And I didn't mind it. I came on XM. Remember we were driving and XM Sirius came on, and I went, I don't know all Rolling Stones songs, but I'm pretty sure that's probably the new one. And it's not a very complicated song, but it's not a bad tune. You know, I'm always happy to hear them.
Steve says Rush and the Moody Blues were under the radar because they did not have the scandals that other bands had.
The Moody Blues, yeah. You've all seen that video, right, when I'm talking to Justin and the guy, he's on a plane. Just bear with me if you've already seen it. You've seen that clip. So he's on a plane and the guy's looking over at him. And Justin Hayward's going, oh, here we go. And he's, of course, sang most of the hits. They all sang, but John Lodge and him sang most of it. Most of it was Justin. And the guy's looking over, and so Justin's waiting for it. He says, hello, mate. Where do I know you from? I know you from someplace. He says, no, I don't think we've ever met. No. So he's just playing dumb. He goes, no, I know you from someplace. Come on. And he says, what industry? And Justin says, what industry are you in? And he tells him. And Justin says, no, I'm not in that industry. A little time goes by and he says, come on, man, you're killing me. I know you. And then Justin finally says, okay, I do a little show on the BBC. And I was in this band called, the Moody Blues. And the guy waits and he says, nah, that's not it. And Justin goes, whatever, okay.
Justin, he says, Leonard Skinner sounds good. Always love him. No originals left. Same as always.
I think if you're happy, I'm really changing my mind, with a lot of these bands with one member left. If they don't have members, then it's, come on. At that point, I love Trooper, but Trooper's not a band anymore. The Canadian band, there's no original members. There's no original members in April Wine, but they have Brian Greenway, who's been with them since, I think, 76, 77. Yeah. Anyway, he's still there. So, and he sang on a lot of albums, and he contributed to the music. He was a guitar, one of the 3 guitarists that April Wine had, which made their sound so good. So April Wine, I'll give them a pass. But when there's no original members like Foreigner, Mick Jones doesn't even go on stage anymore. Yeah, I don't know.
Steve says, Danny Webb has done a lot UK TV. He does 2 or 3 shows a year.
Is that right? Okay. Well, I looked up his TV thing, and Wikipedia could be wrong, but they have him not acting since 2019. 2000. But I was so impressed. I watched the video. I was just telling Trevor just before I got on. I said I was watching the video again, and he really did put those maggots on his face. I said, "You were there for that? Wasn't that stuff with?" He's not. We were there for a lot of that stuff. And he's got them in his hands, and he's got them on his face, and then he goes like this, and then he's lying down, and there's maggots on him, going, "Ah!" Some people can be. I know. You can feel it, right?
I'm not a bug person.
Yeah. And I was going to ask him where the concept, because one of my questions was I'd love to see the storyboard for that video, because it's one of my all-time favorite videos where John says, "Wait a minute, maybe there's another way," and then they go into, the whole dream or that sequence when they're taking him away, the Danny Webb. But one of the greatest videos of all time.
Chip Penman saw. Is it Mike Dample?
Oh, Mike. It would be Mike Campbell.
And the Dream Dogs open for Rose Sunday. They rocked.
Yeah, the Tom Petty's band. Yeah, he'd be a good interview. I've never tried to reach out for him. I mean, what's his name? James Newton Howard, who played with the Elton John band, of course, did a lot of soundtracks. Just released a new album, I think, as of today, which is the music of M. Night Shyamalan's movies, and of course, they're creepy sounding because all his movies are creepy. It was a big ending at the end. Was he dead? So anyway, I started writing an email today of going, and I went, I can't. And if they came up to me and said, "Hey, do you want to interview James Newton Howard, who played with Elton John?" I would probably say, "Of course." But I'm so far behind that I have to be choosy. Rick Emmett yesterday told me one of the secrets of his life was learning to say no. The biggest thing for him was being able to say no. And I said, "Did you think of saying no when the Triumph documentary came up?" He says, "No. I was going to do it no matter what. We'd mended fences." Rick's younger brother, when he was dying, he lost both of his brothers, a little child. Rick's younger brother, as he was dying, basically said, "Please mend fences with Gil and Mike, the two other guys in Triumph. Please do." And he thought about it, and he realized that he would do that. So finally, and then Gil, as far as I remember, I think he said Gil came to his brother's wedding, but then they really need to talk, right? So they mended fences. After that, of course, the documentary came up, and they did those 4 songs. I think it was 4 songs for the fans, but that's done now. That's done. And like I said, I'll talk about it this week when we put out the videos. Rick's dealing with some health issues, but he's okay.
Steve says, "Have you seen Dan Rather interview with Styx?"
Yes.
JT did all the talking, and you can tell Tommy does not want anything with DDY.
Yeah, and here's the thing, they're allowed. And, as much as I appreciated Dennis DeYoung reaching out to us, because he heard, I remember on Friday Night Live, we said, "Dennis DeYoung, if you're out there, I really want to talk to you." And he's one of my heroes. And I enjoyed talking to him. He was, but twice in the interview, and it's nice, I'm just a fan too. He just said, in the beginning of the interview, he says, John Beaudin. He says, I reached out, I wanted you to interview me. And he didn't say he'd heard about it, but I assume that's how he found out. And whenever that happens, that's nice. John Helliwell, remember, watched our top 25 Supertramp songs. So he watched my video talking about him, and he said, "Where'd you get those interviews of me?" And I went, "My friend Steve Burgess gave me all those interviews."
Ruben says he's the nicest musician I've ever met.
Who's that? Which one? I don't know which one. We talked about a few there. Oh, yeah, James. Is it James Young? What's that guy's name? Yeah, hold on.
Randy says, John, the shirt. It looks like somebody went wild with you with postage stamps. For God's sake, Shannon, help the man.
No, I love these shirts. This is intentional.
He's got so many different. He loves these kind of vibrant, colorful shirts. This is so him.
If you saw my closet, you'd go, wowza.
Oh, Ruben was talking about Rick Emmett. Sorry.
Oh, Rick Emmett. Okay.
The nicest musician.
He's just the most down-to-earth guy. And I remember when I was the co-chair of the Jazz Awards years ago, I sent him and Jesse Cook, oh God, where did we put those pictures? The picture of me, there's a picture of Shannon with Jesse Cook, and there's a picture of, he's a flamenco guitarist who used to be on the Narada label out of Milwaukee. and it was a picture of me and Rick Emmett and Jesse Cook, and I sent it to Jesse because I got to know them a little bit, because usually radio guys, like you've heard me say this, all radio guys, oh yeah, they're my friend of mine. They're not really a friend of yours. You know them. They'll in the interview they'll go, hey John, how you been? I haven't talked to you in a while, and that's kind of nice. But with Rick and even Jesse, when we talk to each other, it's like two old friends where I'm going, hey man, how you been? And Rick always tells me stuff he doesn't tell other people, and that's really, really nice. But we also talk about so much stuff that never makes airwaves because it's not that I don't think you'd be interested in it. It's just like, oh yeah, I broke my foot. He didn't break his foot, but it's goofy stuff.
TDSM 19 just saw Styx over the summer. They still have James Young and Tommy Shaw, and they still rock. DDY seemed to have an ego issue, if I'm honest, in my opinion.
Well, he's very confident, but I love the man. I love Dennis DeYoung. I've been a fan. I was a fan of Styx because of Dennis DeYoung, but then, Tommy Shaw, I ended up loving his songs as well, and I'm glad they're still going. I hope they keep it going. Who did I just ask again? I can't remember. I was just saying I forget what I told to who. I don't know who told me what unless I start editing the videos. So I don't have an interview till Wednesday when we're redoing Sylvia Tyson for Ian and Sylvia. She told me great stories about Bob Dylan. She said that Ian Tyson, they were bigger than Bob Dylan at the time, and in the 60s. And so Bob Dylan plays Blowing in the Wind, for Ian. And Ian says, well, I can do that. I think I can do that. And then he starts writing, right? 4 Strong Winds, Blowing in the Wind. And she thought Gordon Lightfoot, she told me Gordon Lightfoot was shy. And he was like Sylvia, because remember the You Were On My Mind, the song, the old 60s song. Sylvia wrote that song. And she's painstakingly just took so long to write songs. And she felt Gordon Lightfoot, she's obviously not in the category of Gordon Lightfoot, but she found that it was an arduous job for him. And by the way, she's releasing her last album, because it takes her so long again, in the beginning of November. Sylvia Tyson, still a beautiful lady.
Flavelinator, hi.
Hey.
Do you listen to newer AOR releases? The Michael Thompson Band has an excellent album out called The Love Goes On.
Oh, cool.
Has that late 70s, early 80s feel to it.
A lot of the times with the people, like I was just saying, I'm dying. I'm so hot I have to take off my socks. On live TV,
It's warm today.
it's really warm up here. So I like the Trevor Rabin album. I listened to Foghat have some new stuff which I really liked. But a lot of the times I'll listen to, unless it's a suggestion from Spotify, what I'm getting, because I have like Trevor Rabin's album. I don't know how many times I've listened to it. I just love it so much. It's great. It's called Rio, and it's out. It's on Spotify. It's on all the streaming services, and you can also, as far as I know, still order an autographed copy, which is kind of cool because he's a real cool guy. I hope he's okay. He was coughing a lot today, so I don't know if he has a cold or. But I took that out. You honor the guest. You take the coughs out because you don't want to see your hero coughing.
A lot of the coughs and the ums and the
We take those out.
and the pauses, yeah.
Remember last week there was a guy. The guy says, "Why do you edit this?" I'm going. The guy had who was it? The guy had a coughing fit in the middle of the interview. I had a coughing fit a few times in the middle of interviews. No one wants to see me hack up a lung. Hey, look, John Beaudin hacking up a lung. Very talented.
Ruben says, I love the shirts, John.
Thank you.
Justin, he says, Dennis DeYoung back with Styx for a show would be awesome, but she's not a fan of Mr. Roboto, though.
Everyone, not everyone. That's usually the line in the sand song. I didn't like that song. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it.
Ruben says, I saw DDY with an orchestra. He was wearing a tuxedo. It was just too Vegas for me.
Oh, is that right? Well, he's really a showman, though. That's who he is. Like, he's not putting on a show as much. That's just, he's putting on a show, obviously, but that's just, that's who he is.
Jamie Martinez Jr. Hi, Jamie.
Hey.
R.I.P. Dwight Twilley, one of the pioneers of power pop.
Someone was just telling me you're going to do a thing on Dwight. I thought, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm in the studio all day, and I can't. I don't have the time. And there's that thing where you go, you want to honor a guy who's been around for so long. but at the same time going, when you do an interview with someone, it's like I was saying, sometimes it's 8-9 hours of research. Usually not. Usually with the people I interview, it's people that I've interviewed before.
But I have to say you are a research junkie. So,
Look, I'm boring the dog back there. He's just going, oh, John Beaudin. Oh, yeah, right. Shut up, John. He's the best dog we've ever had. And what kind of dog is he?
He's a cockapoo.
Which is
what?
what?
And we've got the other lovely dog, but he's kind of in the crate right now because he's a little crazy.
They'd be fighting. They'd be like
fighting the
play
whole
fighting.
time. And yeah.
So
Ruben says, smash that like button, folks. Thank you so much. We always appreciate if you hit that like button. JT Shark, Dennis DeYoung has always been a showman.
yeah.
JT and Tommy were the rockers.
Yeah, hold on. I want to make sure there's nothing on. These are off. These are all on YouTube. I want to make sure we don't have any comments on Facebook.
Please, yeah.
That's all YouTube. We don't get a lot of things on Facebook. But we thought we'd put it on. Interesting, on Facebook, they'll watch it after. And they're not watching it while it's live. So I'm not getting, see, it's all the red button. Make sure we don't miss anybody. Ruben, how come your Maple Leafs on upside down? Okay, no, that's it. Good.
Justin says, no sticks is old school. Today is Swifties and Milano taking up all the ticket money.
Yeah.
Paulo says, 45th anniversary of Pieces of 8.
Pieces of 8 was a great album. My brother got it before I got it. Loved the album cover, but I loved all those. Grand Illusion is still my that's my favorite album. And I'm going to try to get Tommy Shaw on, maybe James as well, and definitely Dennis DeYoung again. By the way, I'm thinking, if you guys are open to it, I'm thinking of getting Jack Bruce's son on next Friday with us. He's such an interesting guy. He's a real deep dude. But, growing in the shadow of Jack Bruce, he's just releasing an album which is all covers of Cream songs, and talks about Clapton, in a very blunt but really beautiful way. He loves Eric. And Ginger Baker. He thought Ginger was that anger thing. He just thought that was like a cover, because he saw that as well. Stuart saw it, Stuart Copeland, but he didn't get. It wasn't directed at him. It was directed at ambulance drivers. They wanted to take him to the hospital when he was with Stuart. He'll tell the story this week because it'll be out this week. And someone had mentioned, John, when are you going to put all those interviews up that someone donated to you? By the way, there's as many interviews that I did back then as my friend. So there's a lot to unpack there. The reason I haven't got to it is because I'm just too busy to do it. Shannon's always saying, think bigger, hire someone to do it. It's hard for me. It's true, right? But it's hard for me, especially with my interviews, where a lot of the times there's a lot of off-the-record stuff, and I don't trust that in anybody else's hands.
So you have to make sure that it's just...
People talk. Yeah. Especially with my interviews. With Steve's interview, Steve Burgess. Look up Steve Burgess. He's a brilliant writer. When he gave me 4 boxes of reel-to-reels, and I've said this over and over again. I kept going, Steve, when you give me these interviews, you're giving them to me. They're mine now, because I might use them someday. Well, I hope you do. So we do give them a percentage of what we make on the videos, but we haven't had time to put them up. But I'm going to get on there, and hopefully one a week we'll put up, starting with probably Roland Orzabal with Tears for Fears. I'm pretty sure it's not Kurt, it's Roland. Yeah. Put that
Hayes Anderson, Osric Tentacles released a new album today, A Lotus Unfolding. Who is that, you say? They have been space rocking that Hawkwind torch since 1986.
Yeah, there bands like that, Spock's Beard, they're out there, man. They do some amazing work. Yeah. I interviewed Neil from Spock's Beard. Before his last house 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, nice.
The last one here in Alberta.
Last in Alberta, yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Paulo says, funny promoters offered Styx millions to reunite, the two turned it down. Sad.
Wow. Well, it would be a big thing. It would be a huge thing, but it's never going to happen. It's like Supertramp. Supertramp's gone. Last time I talked to John Halliwell, so he says, nah, that's Ricky and the Rockets is as close as you're going to get from Rick Davies. And he plays usually 1 or 2 Supertramp songs, sometimes 3. Roger Hodgson's still touring and playing all his songs, so you still got the music,
Patrick Berkman. Hey, Patrick, have you ever interviewed Phil Collins?
No, but it looks like I might be interviewing his son. I'd love to interview Phil, and I'm going to try to interview the people in Trev Lukather's new band. I'd rather kind of interview each one separately. That's kind of I don't like interviewing a whole band together. Who was I talking to the other? Billy Bob Thornton. The last person you'd think I'd interview is Billy Bob Thornton
But you had a great time.
For like half an hour, 45 minutes. Billy Bob Thornton this week, it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And he was amazing. And there's a lady named Tasha, look her up. She just did a song for mental health. And Billy Bob helped her produce it. And JD, who's in the Boxmasters with them. It's an amazing band. They do such a great version of Dr. Hook. They didn't write the song, but Dr. Hook's Sylvia's Mother, a fast one. Look up Boxmasters, Sylvia's Mother on Spotify. Amazing. So anyway, I told Billy Bob, and I'd heard rumors that he was this or this, but he was just laid back, sitting in his kitchen. You'll see it this week, just kind of like talking about mental illness in a very blunt sort of way. And at the end of the interview, he says, "Thanks for being prepared." And at the end of the interview, I said, "Listen, you and JD, I want to talk to you guys about the Boxmaster. We got to get you on the channel more." And he says, "No problem. Contact Erin, who is the publicist who I've worked with a lot. She got us Kenny Loggins." And he says, "Yeah, get her on. Well, if you want to go do a deep dive on the band, because the Boxmasters have been way more successful than Billy Bob's solo career. And before anyone puts their back up about Billy Bob Thornton, remember, he was a musician first. Just look up his bio. Long before he, as he called it, accidentally became an actor, long before that he was a musician. He started as a drummer, so there you go."
Darren says, hopefully the 2 Beaudin Edwards family dogs will step up to the Friday Night Live mic and give their opinions on music.
You probably know more than me.
Jimmy KX, hey John and Shannon, good Friday.
Hi.
Have you ever interviewed Geddy or Alex before? Tommy Shaw would be great to interview.
Yeah, Tommy I'm going to pursue. Geddy's new book is he's doing the tour right now. So I reached out to HarperCollins, who are the publishers of the book, and we'll see. Alex, I might be able to get through Rick Emmett. Rick knows Alex. Rick of Triumph knows Alex more than any other member. And I also know people who actually know him, like Andy Curran. He used to be the A&R guy. Of course, he's got his own band, so we'll see.
Fraser's wondering, any more thoughts on subscribers video calling in on Friday Night Live, guys?
Oh, yeah. Well, we could have done that tonight. We could have...
It's always nice. We always kind of try to juggle it, and we'll have certain topics that we'll try to bring on a Friday Night Live, but it's nice to...
But someone's going to come on, and they're going to turn around and flash us. That's just going to happen. Some guy from Albuquerque or something. No, nothing against Albuquerque. But it's just going to happen.
It always reminds of all those memes, those video calls, and people get on and they think
and
that they think that their camera's off, but it's really not off.
So I'm changing shirts before I come on because I wanted to wear a nice shirt tonight, and I'm there and I'm looking around, going, "Is that red light on?" The green light's on the MacBook, but because I'm going, no one wants to see my belly. That's fine. Anyway.
Let's see here. John, really, I'm backing up here. Todd Garland. Hey, Todd. Hi, John. Do you ever get a chance to interview Mark Lindsay? Paul
Revere and the Raiders. No.
Also, John Kay and Stephen Wolf are still going. I'm acquainted with the drummer, John Hurst.
I've got to get John Kay. I'm on his mailing list. I get the stuff for Steppenwolf all the time. I've reached out to him and never heard back. I'm still trying to get Richie Henman as well from April Wine, the original April Wine drummer. He wrote a book. Someone comes on here. I don't know if you're even the guy, but someone comes and says he knows him. It's just John Beaudin at iCloud.com. That's my email address. So there you go. We're almost done.
Ruben says, ever interviewed Tony Levin?
Yes, right after 9/11. He was releasing, he used to be on the Narada label, I think, if I remember, and as a solo artist. And it was a waste. It was like my, it was a wasted interview because back then I didn't think about the rock side of it. I asked him about, at the time, I said, when's Peter coming up with an album? He said, oh God, we never know. It could be 10 years, it could be 20 years. We have no idea. But he'll call. He always says he'll call. And what was I thinking about? Yeah, I asked him about 9/11. He says his wife, I think he's told me his wife. I found the interview. I've still got it. Actually, you know all these interviews we're talking about? Every one of those interviews, 350 interviews are on here. You know why? Because they're MP3s. So they'll fit. Every single one of those interviews is on. Yeah, there you go.
JT Shark says, Rick Derringer is another guy I'd like to see you interview.
Bill Simzik said he was one of the most talented, the Eagles producer, Bill Simzik said, told me that he was one of the most talented guys he's ever worked with.
TDSM19, doesn't Phil Collins have a hearing problem now?
Yeah, he's got a lot of problems. I don't know if he'd be doing, I don't know if he'd do an interview because he seems rather frail. You know, I mean, if I get a chance to talk to his son through Trevor Lukather's band, I will ask him how his dad's doing.
So he wanted to come up.
But there you go. The other guy wants to come up. Should we get the other guy up for the last little while?
If you want to.
Well, here we are with our dogs.
Hi. Oh.
That's very attractive on.
Diane Smith says, hi, Diana. I always look forward to these Friday night chats. Thank you for doing these. Since I am still spinning from the Eagles concert October 6th, have you ever interviewed Timothy B. Schmidt?
No, I've tried. Couldn't you go again, please? I've tried, but never heard back. I just got J.D. Souther's phone number, you know, sort of a member of the extended Eagles band. There you go. Hell on Wheels. There he is. Hell, they get along incredibly well, but if we let them out, they'd be chasing each other. You want to try it? They're probably going to do it.
No. Patrick says, thanks, John and Shannon. Great show.
Thank you.
Justine says, Phil Collins has got to pack it in.
Oh, he's done.
Yeah.
Oh, he's done. I just read a comment that from Peter Gabriel, and Peter said he wanted to be there for the last Genesis show, and he knew that this was like that dog won't hunt, as they say down south. That's it. They really can't. Mike Rutherford's doing Mike and the Mechanics. I thought I'd heard Tony Banks is doing some soundtrack work. Stephen Hackett, of course, when they were the Five, the most popular version that did Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, sung England by the Pound. Steve Hackett's still touring, still releasing music. I've talked to Steve, 7 times, I think. Lovely gentleman. And one of my favorite interviews. See? He's nuts.
Crazy.
But he's a puppy.
Brian says you should interview Robin Trower.
Getting that all the time. All the time, and have tried.
Everyone's saying they love dogs, pretty babies, thank you. They're a handful, but we are such dog people.
So how old's this guy, 5?
Nope, this guy is 4.
Okay.
This month, and this one is 6.5 months. He just got fixed 2 weeks ago.
One of his eyes is blue and it has 2 colors, blue.
But he's actually fit right in.
Yeah, he just wants to get out of there. He probably wants to go pee now.
Thomas Davis, hello everyone. Hi. Alfred says, hi John and Shan. Hope all is well with your family. Enjoy your shows. 2 beautiful dogs. Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
Shannon wanted to get 2 cockapoopos, and I said, well, we already have one though. Why would we get another one? And we love the temperament. We had a Havanese. We had to rehome him because before we moved out east, now we're back out west. Before we moved out east, because he barked too much, and our autistic 25-year-old was just too much for him. This is interesting lighting, isn't it?
It is. I think he said it was hazy or fuzzy there.
Oh, that's because of our feed. I'm going to get one. You know that thing we have, those little boxes to improve your internet? Because, the box is in the basement. The modem's in the basement. So.
Declan says, John, have you ever interviewed Bill Henderson from Chilliwack?
Once. And
okay,
hold on. I'm going to let this dog down. Come on. Let's go.
I'm not going to let this dog.
No, don't let that dog. I'm going to tell you what we've got. Just quickly, before we leave, I'll tell you what's in the can. I'm putting the hard drive in, and it'll let me know. Hold on. Just give me a second. USB. USB for me. And again, these videos have to see the light of day. Most of the stuff on this video. Oh, there's Chris Thompson. Real should be that one. Okay. Oh Lord, just give me a. So one guy said, "Oh, I don't think that they even exist." Of course, why would I lie? I mean, what's the, Okay, Canadian band 8 Seconds to interview with Mark Parent, who's now the lead singer of April Wine. Al Stewart from '85. Alan Parsons. My friend Len did those. I'm not sure if I had permission. Aldo Nova from '85. Alfie Zappacosta, Canadian. 3 interviews, 2 from me, 1 from Steve. Jerry Beckley of America, that's already been up. Andrew Gold from '92. I know I've been promising that one for long. Andrew Lloyd Webber, April Wine. Miles Goodwin, The Arrows, Dean McTaggart. I just also interviewed him. Bachman Turner Overdrive. That's a Barry Manilow special. These are all things I just digitized from. Some of them are radio specials, but most of them we did. Bee Gees, Robin Gibb. Who else? Biff Naked. I did that one. Billy Davis Jr., Canadian. The performing artist Black. Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Blue Rodeo. Body Electric. Boulevard. Canadian band. Box, a Canadian band. Brian Hughes, who's a jazz musician, plays with Lorena McKenna. Bruce Coburn. Springsteen, that's not ours. That's a radio special. Randy Bachman again. Carly Simon, that's a radio special. We don't own that. Chilliwack, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 interviews with Chilliwack. Chuck Mangione, that's Lens. I'm not sure if I have permission for that one. Climby Fisher from Naked Eyes. Crosby, Stills, and Nash, that's a radio special. Daryl Sturmer of Genesis. 2 phoners that I did. There's a lot of stuff. David Wilcox. David Bowie, that's a phoner with Len. I'm not sure if I have permission. I have to ask him first. Eddie Schwartz, who wrote Hit Me With Your Best Shot. Eric Carmen, that's Len again. Rick Wills from Foreigner, long gone. George Benson, I finally found that interview that I did with George. Ian Thomas, Jane Sibrey, a lot of smooth jazz when I was in smooth jazz. Jeff Lorber, Chuck Loeb. I see a lot of John Bowden's, it says there. Hold on. Kim Carnes, Level 42, Mike Lindup. I just talked to him myself a few weeks ago again. Marshall Crenshaw, remember him? Michael Hedges, which I did backstage here in Calgary when I lived in Edmonton, long before I met you, Shannon. Michael Manring from the Windham Hill label. A lot of Windham Hill stuff. Oh, everyone in Mr. except Richard Page, Murray McLaughlin, Neil Sedaka, Nick Gilder, Pet Shop Boys, your favorite. And look at it, it's Neil Tennant too, you're the guy who sings. Philip Alberg, back by Windham Hill days. Rita McNeil, Canadian. That's how many. Sherry Ulrich, Canadian artist. Stacy Q.
Blaze quickly chimed in. Hi, Blaze, brother John and sister Shannon, always looking so good. John, you could interview Mark Farner, 724, and I'm there. By the way, you too, how's Danica? Love coming.
Danica's really good. She's just watching a video in the other room.
Yeah.
So we're going to take off. But anyway, that was just some of the ones. I was just skimming it because I've been editing video all day, so my mind's going, woo! So anyway, love you guys. Thanks for being on. If you ever want to donate to the channel directly without giving us a super chat, there's a PayPal link at the very top of the description of this video and every video we put out. But you know what? Just subscribe to the channel, like the videos, share them on social media, and we'd appreciate that. And Shannon's working on a lot of these older interviews. Shannon's going to be working on some of her favorite 80s bands. We don't know what we're going to call the channel yet, but she's going to do. She's working out of home helping me now. So she says, well, I think I'll just start. Because she interviewed Boy Meets Girl with me, Steve Porcaro, quite a few people, Charlie Morgan, the drummer.
That's great.
So we did a lot of interviews together. Anyway, love you guys. Okay. Have a really nice weekend.
Bye.
See you.